Right, shalom, I give you no praise unto Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Kodash. The honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and I honor you brothers, they be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. The Baba Abadi are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Kodash. Giving no praise unto Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Kodash. Okay, I'm going to entitle this something to the effect of, don't believe everything that you see on the screen. And this is with respect to the leaders that we get presented before, or get presented before the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans as icons, superstars, people that the masses look up to, individuals that the masses look up to. And these are part of the Boule group, specially selected individuals to encourage the people to leave off of Yahweh Shema Shai, to stay off of leaning upon Yahweh Shema Shai and lean upon Esau and his system, irregardless of whether that figure may or may not appear to be against the system. The vast majority of these Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that you see, whether it be Diddy, R. Kelly, whether it be, NWA, all of these guys that you've seen for the longest time that Esau's supposedly been against, when in reality, they make TV programs about them. They make it to where their music is released and put on a high platform. Make it to where these guys get movies made about them. All right, there's a reason why you see these guys. Even Tate, when you really think about Andrew Tate and how this guy is supposedly against the system and he's so red pill that is ridiculous. Like he's just this individual that's he just popped out of nowhere and he was able to make $1 million and drive around in a Bugatti and all of that. These guys are a falsification of individuals, man. These guys don't exist. Guys are a fabrication of the system, and they don't exist, right? For as real individuals, they exist to turn the hearts of the children of Israel away from Yahweh Shema Shai. So you're chasing the bag, okay? You're trying to get rich, right, before you die, instead of seeking, like the scripture says, seeking the kingdom first, while the kingdom can be sought, because there's gonna come a time when you can't seek Yahweh Shema Shai, man. It's gonna come a time when you can't. The word is not gonna be out there anymore, because looking at the laws that's getting passed out there within Canada, and that's soon gonna spread around the world. Pretty much Esau's getting ready to make the law, make it to where it's going to be illegal to read these scriptures. So when are you going to get the truth? You got to seek the truth now whilst it's readily available, where you can go on YouTube and search out the videos, which even YouTube, they're making it very hard to search out, edification. I remember a long time ago, you used to be able to really just punch out a topic and put Great Millstone in front of the topic, and you'll be able to get a plethora of different brothers that have just gone in on that topic, man. You used to be able to study off of YouTube. Now everything is hidden, right? Everything is hidden behind the algorithm, which that goes to show you that this truth is coming to a time where you're not going to be able to access it. But going back onto these guys, man, the Diddy's of the world, they make a movie about this guy, and you really thinking, oh yeah, look, man, look, Diddy, right? R. Kelly, right? Surviving R. Kelly. You're really looking at these particular things, but why do you see these guys? Why do you see these guys continually, right, making more money, releasing movies about them, getting even more famous, even after they have the so-called scandals? Remember Shannon Sharpe had a scandal, what was it, like 6 months ago? Nobody's talking about the Shannon Sharpe scandal anymore, man. That thing is gone. That thing is gone. This guy's still on the podcast talking nonsense, right? That's how the guy speaks, man. Goofy. Goofy. But why do these guys get set up on the platform? Why do they get a platform? Because they're part of the inside group, man. They're part of like you saw within the scriptures, they said, look, even if you don't eat the pork, just pretend that you're eating the pork. That's within the book of Maccabees. This is what these guys represent. They represent the class of society that's there to eat the pork in front of the masses, to make it to where you're going to be comfortable to take these particular things. You look at a guy like that and you say, okay, he's got money, so he must be doing something, right? So let me follow what he's doing. And sooner rather than later, you're going to see them take the chip. They're going to be out there on a TV program. They're going to be out there on their podcast. They're going to be out there on a movie taking the chip. And it's going to encourage you to take the chip. Because you set these guys up, Esau set these guys up to be on a pedestal, and you accepted them as being individuals to be on a pedestal. When in reality, these guys are degenerates. Esau went into some slum somewhere, picked out a guy and they made him a Michael Jordan. He went to some slum somewhere, picked out a guy and made it into a Shannon Sharpe. These guys are fabricated. Andrew Tate, where did this guy come from? Right? These guys are fabricated, but they exist to further Esau's agenda. So now you got some so-called symbol of masculinity that you're trying to fashion yourself against. But the reality of the situation is that you're esteeming the wisdom of this world and not esteeming the wisdom of Yahweh Hashem outside. And that's how Esau would love to have it. He would love to have you go after a 50 Cent and make that the symbol of masculinity in your lifestyle, the symbol of a status that you aspire to within your lifestyle, as opposed to the men of the Lord. That's why you ain't gonna see the men of the Lord on CNN, lest it be some false flag. You ain't gonna see the apostles on CNN, lest it be some false flag or some defaming. But even within the defaming, and this is why you haven't seen it for the longest time, unless it's some crazy thing, even within the defaming, Esau has really he's stayed off of that. He's really left the apostles as if we don't even exist. Everybody has seen everybody's seen has seen the Israelites. So how comes you've never seen a news article on the Israelites on a big platform? Because ultimately, if you was to see a news article on a big platform about the Israelites, that will turn more people to turn to the real standard of masculinity, the real standard that you're supposed to abide by, which is Yahweh Hashem outside. And that's why you ain't gonna see them on that platform. That's why you're always gonna see the Diddy's on there, the P Diddy's on there. Sorry, so like the 50 Cents. You're gonna see these guys, but you ain't gonna see the apostles in any type of a light. Why? Because that's the truth. And they'll rather sell you a lie and sell you some drama. Okay, everybody goes on the Shining Shop podcast and they're arguing about what Cat Williams seen and this, that, and the third. Was it real? You know, who's arguing with this and that person's arguing with that and they got beef. They'll rather sell you that madness and that nonsense and that complete waste of time, as opposed to giving you the real truth, which is Yahweh Shema Shai is a man of a color. Okay, Yahweh Shai is a man of color. You are the chosen people of Yahweh Shema Shai. You're supposed to be revering and fearing Yahweh Shema Shai because that is your nationality, your heritage. They'll ever give you some get rich or die trying. Okay? But that's all good. You niggas stick to that. You stick to that. And when it's all said and done, right, you're going to be destroyed along with your master, which is Esau. With that, I'm going to say all praise unto Yahweh Shema Shai, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and the honors you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom.